Welcome to Compassion Speaks. I'm Ezra Brago, your host. Today on the show, I have Maggie Heath with Walking Down Ranch and the Veterans Village in Lakeside. Welcome, Maggie.
Thank you.
You've been here before, and it's been a while since you've been here, but there's a lot of things that's happened up there at the Veterans Village since we've talked last here on the show. We talk a lot in between anyways, and we're good friends, and you've done so much in our community and helping out these veterans through the years, and I know you're passionate about this. They call you mom and all this stuff, and there's a reason for that because what you do for them. Tell me a little bit about what's going on up there right now, Maggie.
Well, right now, I can say we have transitioned 82 veterans.
Wow. And you've been there for how long?
We took the property over in January of 18.
18, so 2 years.
So 2 years.
A little over 2 years.
We have 18 living on property and 2 spouses. So we're happy with the progress. And as you know, you work with veterans and people with disabilities and stuff, and there's so many different issues and things you have to deal with. So, you know, we don't have a specific time people can stay there, length of time.
Right.
Everybody is different, and every need is different, and personalities are different. Yeah. So I think transitioning 82 people into stability, you know, has been really, you know, what's my heart works for. Yeah,
and you're fulfilling your purpose while you have that there, to see them get on the road, get them a place of their own, back on their feet. You know, and I know you mentioned that they don't have a time limit there, which is, I think it's pretty neat because a lot of them have PTSD that are there.
Right.
And when they feel a stress that I can only be here for so long, and they feel that stress, am I going to be where I want to be at that time? That stress is off of them. They're there, they're welcome, and they help out where they can, right?
Right. And like I say, when you're worried about where you're going to sleep or if you're going to have anything to eat, and that if you're going to be safe where you're at, and that fear is taken away, and you finally get into a safe place where you know you're going to be on your feet and okay, then, you know, the whole personality of someone will turn around, you know.
Yep, I agree.
So anyway, that's our biggest accomplishment.
Yeah.
We have acquired 2 vans and a pickup truck since we've talked. Awesome. One of them is wheelchair equipped, and we can transport people to Phoenix if we need to, and transport them locally for medical or whatever needs to be done. The truck we're using to pick up donations and stuff for the thrift store to keep us thriving. We have been working on the overhangs on the front of the cabins so we can protect them in the winter months, so they're not out there falling and you know, snow and all that stuff. So that's in the works now. We have got our last cabin in the final stages of being up and running, so that's a good thing. We have completely redone the landscaping. We've hauled in, I don't know how many tons of gravel in that driveway and stuff to try to get that up and running. That's been good. We have received donations from people, you know, from family members, and it's memorabilia and it's history.
Wow.
And so we put 2 display cases in the office, and books and different things that have really people need to see, you know.
Yeah.
From World War I to Vietnam. So that's really exciting.
That is exciting, Maggie.
So the other thing is we started a newsletter, and our newsletter comes out monthly, and it keeps people updated on a lot of the progress and the people that are involved in things that we're doing. So if anybody wants the newsletter, they can email me at the Walking Down Ranch Inc. at Gmail, and we'll get their name on the newsletter.
Wonderful.
And keep people up to date as to what's happening.
Okay. So there's a few things that have been going on since the COVID-19 has probably changed some structure and how you do things. Is there some things that's affected you, Maggie?
It's really slammed us our veterans going on and off property, we're trying to comply. I won't let them in the van without a mask.
Okay.
We try to keep them as safe as possible. If we have someone that's going off property other than to the doctors or the grocery store, they are required to self-quarantine when they come back on property.
Okay.
We have the thrift stores open, and so we furnish masks and hand sanitizers if they need be. We try to protect our volunteers because we put up the plexiglass and the wipes and sanitize everything. We spray the thrift store every night, and just trying to keep the public safe. But it has hit us hard as far as our fundraising. The county has given us 3.5 pages of compliance.
Wow.
For the events that we wanted to have, so our sock hop is kind of up in the air.
Okay.
There's no way you can have an event with 50 people, keep them 6 feet apart, make sure everybody's healthy that comes in the door, and just comply with these crazy restrictions. And it's hurting a lot because we cannot work on our goals,
right?
Without these fundraisers and the county and the community has been so helpful to us.
Okay.
Our support is just amazing. The donations that are coming in, and our thrift store is busting at the seams. Well, you've seen it.
Yeah. You have stuff in one of your big buildings that you normally have people in, a family in, it's just loaded with furniture.
Right. One of our 2-story building, we're having to deal with septic problems over there right now. And so that's our furniture storeroom. But every day we get 2 or 3 truckloads. Every Tuesday and Friday our truck is out picking up donations that people can't deliver. And we're just busting at the seams. So we're having sale after sale after sale to try to accommodate.
Right.
And it's the best place in town because our prices are so low. I mean, and we'll wheel and deal and bargain with people to move stuff out the door.
Right. And going to such a great cause, helping these veterans. They've done wonders for our country, and they're affected by fighting and whatever things that they've been dealing with in their combat and the different things that they've done in the military, whatever service they were in branch, and it's going to them, which is
right.
Incredible.
And people need to know that we don't have any paid employees.
Right.
Everybody there that's working is a volunteer, myself included. I'm there 6 days a week, and everybody that's there. But the money that comes in through the thrift store donations, it pays for our car insurance, it pays for our maintenance, it pays for our property insurance.
Right.
It feeds the veterans.
Yeah.
It helps us to do all the repairs. We've put probably $350,000 into the infrastructure there.
Wow.
And now we're starting to do the sewer infrastructure.
So what do you need when it comes to the sewer? Do you have a plumber that you know of? Do you need a plumber or some plumbers that may donate some time or give you a discount? Or tell me what you need there with that one house that you're talking about that needs some plumbing.
Our sewer system has to be hand dug behind 4 of the cabins.
Okay.
And we're going to try to replace the old line with the new line.
Okay.
We need a backhoe. We need plumbers. And I have to tell you, Cox Construction, Bianco Plumbing, Juniper Ridge little volunteer group, and Venture Inn volunteer group, and so
people.
Many volunteers on the mountain have been in there working, and too many people to mention. But we need to get in there and we need to dig this sewer line and we need to replace it. It's 90 years old.
Wow.
And when we did the water lines, when Cox came in and did the water line for us, the water main for us, we found 4 different kinds of pipe. You remember the old tar paper?
Ductile, not ductile, but it's Orangeburg. I think they call it Orangeburg. That was flaked, or that's
Right.
layers and layers.
Rolls of tar paper. We found the red terracotta. We have black. We have white.
That place has been there for a while.
They've used everything they could, to try to get this thing, done. And it's hysterical, really, because, now, and the old owners, if they had a problem with the sewer, they went with a hammer and poked a hole in the line, and then they put a handful of concrete over it. So now the concrete's bad, the pipe's bad.
Wow.
So, but the people that could help have helped, and now it's like, I asked somebody, can you bring me a backhoe? And I'm almost embarrassed because they've helped so much. But we need a backhoe, to dig this up. And the guys that live there, their requirement to live there at no charge is to work 20 hours a week on property.
Right.
And for
that's
me,
not bad.
it's hard to ask somebody who's had back and neck surgery, who's waiting for surgery, who has other issues like the PTSD issues, to go out and dig a ditch, to do some of this stuff. They're just not capable.
Right.
One of the things we've accomplished is we're putting a laundry room in the thrift store. And that is, like, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I'll tell you what, it's a blessing.
It is.
Because everything that comes in the thrift store, we need to wash, we need to dry, whatever. And Jim, one of the veterans that lives there, who's had 4 surgeries this month, is putting this laundry room in for us.
Wow.
And so it'll take the stress off of the laundry room that is there free for the guests, for the veterans.
Right.
So that we're not encroaching on their little room.
Right. So is that going to be in this building that's adjacent to the thrift store?
It's in the thrift store.
Okay.
There were 2 bathrooms in the thrift store. One has a shower and a toilet and a laundry sink, and so we're turning that into a laundry room, and it'll just be amazing. The girls are all excited over a laundry room. It's the volunteers that are there, Jamie and Stella. I mean, they're just like ecstatic to get it to go, So, and
wonderful.
That'll be nice.
Yes. So one of the big last events that you had there was the Veterans Day. That was one of the last things for the Veterans Day. And we're going to talk a little bit about that when we come back on our second half is the Veteran Day event that you had and some other things that you wanted to go ahead and cover before we finish up. I know there's some other things that's going on there at the Veterans Village that's exciting and things that you're dreaming about to happen for these veterans. And I know that you want to hang around there as long as you can, and that's what keeps you going in your life. And Maggie, I sure appreciate what you do at the Veterans Village. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Compassion Speaks. Join us today is Maggie Heath with Walking Down Ranch in the Veterans Village in Lakeside. So earlier we were talking about some of the things that you've been able to do lately with the veterans and some of the things that you have had trouble with COVID-19, how the the thrift store is such a great place and all the furniture you're getting and sales you're having, all that stuff. And just recently, that was the end of May, I believe, where we had the Veterans Day event, and you kind of celebrated some individuals there, and you had some of the different veterans that did gun salute.
Right.
For individuals.
The VFW came and helped us.
Yeah.
And we had our Memorial Day celebration.
Okay.
And we've kind of decided that we've lost 2 veterans.
Yeah.
On property, and 2 more that were hospitalized, and my heart can only take this once a year, so we've decided to just do our Memorial Day celebration once a year. And Dan, the veteran we lost, as you know, he made me promise that everybody that helped take care of him got a steak dinner that day, so we accommodated.
And it happened. It was so good.
So just to have a memorial for some of these people, they don't have family, you know, and things. The VFW from Sholo came and did a service for us and did the flag ceremony and the gun salute, and it was a nice Memorial Day.
It was.
So we try to remember, you know, you can't forget these people.
No.
And they're in our heart.
They are. They are. And I want to share something that sometimes we do as because they've departed us from the physical life here on this earth. You know, me being a chaplain for hospice, I got to know both those veterans very well. They just became dear to me. You know, we talk about Dan was a good man and Dave was a good man. No, they still are good men. And they still are living on the other side and very aware of what's going on, and they're just doing well, and so they're still a part of our life in many ways. The impact they had, and knowing they're watching over people, and they're doing wonderful things. Well, that's my belief system anyways. That's how I see things. And because we are connected with our people because of the sacrifice they made for our country, and so they do so much to our heart, especially those that gave their lives in the battlefield for us to be free. And these guys gave their time and their efforts, and they got affected by it. And you can see some of the things that they're going through at the Veterans Village as I talk to them. Dan and Dave both are such good men because of the giving men that they were and the love they had for the people there, God, and just giving back. Dan always, anytime he'd go out of town, he'd always bring some fudge back to everybody. Make sure everything, he says, Ezra, you got to have a piece. This is good stuff. No, give it to somebody else that needs. Ezra, you better have a piece before you go. And he'd make sure I had a piece.
Yeah.
And
he'd drive to Payson and get everybody fudge, and you know, as things progress with us, we learn there every day things we need to change. And I'm a New Englander, I'm a hard-headed person, you know, and so I have to really devour a lot of information before I decide, okay, I'm doing this wrong, I need to change something, you know. We're the only facility that lets the veterans come with a pet. No other facility allows them to have a pet. They cannot go in a shelter overnight somewhere with a pet. And so I now have 6 dogs because Dan passed, you know, and I had gotten him his dog.
And that was Amigo, right?
And Amigo and I laugh every day because we do something silly and it always reminds us of this. But it's a policy change now, because when I take a veteran in with a pet, they have to provide me with information as to who's going to take that pet if something should happen.
Right.
Because I cannot take more dogs home. So it's learning experience for everybody.
Right.
You know,
right.
But Dan laughs at me every day because he knows, you know, I'm downloaded with pets, and Amigo's got a good home.
Yes.
And so does Dave's dog.
You know what the special situation with both Amigo and Tasha, the other dog with Dave, is they needed those dogs, and those dogs needed them.
And you saw that. You saw the personality change with Dan once he had somebody to take care of.
Yeah.
You know,
they were partners, and they needed each other. And they can tell that they needed each other. Mm-hmm. It was evident. And how they were breaking down in their lives and their health was getting a little bit worse. The dogs were sensitive to that and getting closer and closer to them and being there right there with them. Very sensitive.
Yeah, and this is hard for both of us because, you know, it's just one of those things. But anyway, these are just some of the things, you know, that we have to do and change and everything. And so we just continue on, and it's like we've had to cancel our fundraisers this year.
Oh, it's been so hard.
And we're trying to raise the money to buy the property. And we have I have to get off that subject. We have our 575 club, which, if people don't know, this $575,000 was the appraised value of our property when we first took it over.
Right.
And that was because of the cost of the infrastructure that was necessary, the cost of refurbishing all the cabins.
Right.
Remember when we took this over, every cabin had been vandalized, and we had to go in and replace doors and windows and cabinetry, water heaters, stoves, furniture, everything in these cabins, and we
resealed.
did them one at a time.
Yep.
And when a veteran leaves, when 82 veterans leave, they take all of the furnishings in that cabin with them.
Wow.
So if they go into a new apartment, they have their furnishings.
Right. That is neat.
And it helps us because they take better care of the stuff in the cabin knowing it's theirs.
Right.
So
The ownership.
it's a revolving door, so that's where our donations help and everything. And our 575 Club has taken a hit because of the COVID.
Right.
Our cabin sponsorships have taken a hit because of the COVID. And so there's a need here now to kind of try to make up ground with tax credits or donations. I'm happy because we've got $287,000 in our fund to purchase a property
Wonderful.
in 2 years.
Wow.
But we need $575,000.
Okay.
So we're working at it.
You are, and you're going to get there, Maggie. You know, you're doing a good thing. What comes around goes around. Yin yang. You know, what you sow is what you reap. All that stuff is just going to happen. You're doing a good thing in the community. You know, tell me a little bit about the sponsorship with the cabins, how that works.
The Pickleball Club has a cabin.
Okay. I love pickleball.
And a lot of private individuals have sponsored cabins.
Cool.
But it's a $3,000 a year fee.
Okay.
And that $3,000 goes into the refurbishing of that cabin.
Okay.
Now, like I said, we're trying to put the overhangs on. Some of the cabins need roofs, and we're going to put metal roofs on as we go. But it helps to take care of replacing a freezer, refrigerator, or stove. It helps to chinking on the outside of the cabins needs to be done. It paid for the concrete and new water heaters and new gas meters and that type of thing as we go from cabin to cabin. Every cabin had to be replumbed because nothing was winterized when this facility went into foreclosure.
Right. Wow.
So every time you went in there and turned something on, you had this massive fountain of youth going off. So that's where the money goes, to improvements of that cabin and to, you know, continue. If that particular cabin doesn't need a lot of refurbishing down the road, it'll go into paying for the utilities and the food and stuff for that veteran in that cabin.
Wonderful. So you're in downtown Lakeside by Circle K. So your address, it used to be those that have been in the White Mountains for a while, it used to be Rainbow Lake Lodge, correct? Right. So what's the address there?
1638 West White Mountain Boulevard.
Okay.
And we're right across from the Comfort Inn and next door to Circle K, right there, wedged in there. And if people want to know more about us, they can go to the website. You know, the website is walkingdownranch.org. They can email me at walkingdownranchinc@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to call them back and give them more information. I'm going to go to the Ponderosa Shadows Resort and talk to them on Wednesday.
Good.
I'm going to be at the White Mountain Women's Club open house tours.
Wow.
And I've never done that, so that's going to be fun because they have all these beautiful homes that are designed and decorated, and they're doing tours of these homes.
Oh, wow.
And they're taking precautions. You wouldn't believe they've got the shoe covers and the mask
Everything.
and sanitizers there,
Good.
so people can actually tour these homes and enjoy it and feel safe.
Yeah, good.
You know, so, and that'll be fun for me, you know, and be there to answer questions for people and get the word out if anybody has any information they need or want to make a donation. You can go onto our webpage. There's a PayPal. We have a GoFundMe page. You can mail a donation to our P.O. Box 804 in Concho. And that's where we started, and that's where our mail still goes to Concho. So if people want to donate, there's lots of ways to do it. You know, just come on in the office and take a tour, and we'll let you walk around, see what we're doing.
Wonderful. Yeah, they can just go down there and just stop by and see what it's like, right? Just anytime they want.
And today we're actually doing a visual tour that's going to go down into the valley with some of the other people that are trying to help us. So
good. Well, good. So I want to just share a little bit real at the close on how you and I met and why I love helping you, Maggie. You know, I'm part of hospice, and we have a camp, which I think it's going to be canceled this year. It's called Camp SOAR at Camp Tautier, and that's how I met you, Maggie, is you had your snow cone trailer, and you brought that down there, and free snow cones for everybody. That was such a big hit with all those kids, and even the staff. You know, we like all those different flavors, and
that was fun.
When it gets warm, that snow cone is the best thing to have, and it was so fun. And so I thought, wow, this lady's given this to these kids, so she needs to get some help any way I can. So that's how we met, and I'm so glad that we met, Maggie, and we're going to continue to be friends forever. And you do wonderful things in the community, and keep it up. Keep your health up, and just keep going. You have a lot of support. He's watching over you, and you have a lot of veterans that are watching over you, because you've touched many veterans in the mountain, and those that have moved away, different places. You've affected a lot of people, and you affected their families. You know what you've done for those veterans, and the families really appreciate it. So thank you again for coming on with Compassion Speaks, Maggie. You're a great woman. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining us today, and make sure to get out and serve your community. Tune in next month to see Compassion Speaks. Thanks for being here with us today.